Hello, welcome to this virtual roundtable with Idaho Commerce for September 17th, 2015. Today we have Pablo Monzon with GIS Planning to go over using new intelligence components and infographics to improve your website. If you have any questions, please type them in as they come up and we'll try and get to all of them at the end. And with that, here's Pablo.
Hi everybody, welcome to the webinar today. As many of you probably are already familiar with the size and building application for Hempstead Prospector, but we have a new product that I would think will be very useful for your communities that we want to showcase today. And if you want to see a sample, you can always go to the Hempstead Prospector site, and then we have the ability to show all the intelligence components there. But I'm going to be talking about a new product called intelligence components. So what are intelligence components? So everybody has a website, and people come to your website, site selectors and business trying to expand or relocate, and they want the information about your community. They want to know about your labor force. They want to know about how you compare with other communities. They want to know which industries you have, so that to see if there is competitors or maybe synergies or maybe suppliers. They want to know about your demographics and the education and the type of workforce you have. And usually a lot of websites are kind of descriptive and might not have all the data available immediately. So these intelligence components the concept is that they are point and click, and they are applications that you can use embed right on your website, and then suddenly you will have available a lot of demographic reports, interactive mapping, business data, comparison, infographics. So it takes like a few minutes to implement it, like point and click. So basically it's a script that you put in your website, and then you can offer a lot of information that site selectors are looking for. And in order to show you how it works, I'm going to show different examples. I'm going to try to go into different communities, different sizes, all across the US that are using it, just to give you an idea how they can look when they are embedded in your website. So basically there's 5 intelligence components. You can use one or many. And again, it's a piece of code, it's a line of code that your web designer or your webmaster can put in a website, and then suddenly all these reports are available at your fingerprint tips. So we'll start with the most popular one. So the first one that we're going to show is the demographics. So a lot of people come to your website. They want to know, the basic information about your community. Sometimes they don't want to. They want buildings and sites at some point, but before they even look at buildings and sites, they just want to know what do you have to offer. So the first way to do that is everybody does it differently, but in this case in Santa Rosa County, for example, they have what they call demographic search tool. So basically it's a way, and this is the intelligence component, this square that you see here, that you can place anywhere you want in your website. And it doesn't have to be one location. You can put it in multiple locations if you want. And basically it will give you the demographics for, in this case, for the county. If you are a region, it will give you the demographics for the region, and also for all the counties, and also for all the cities in your region. So for example, here you can come here and see, okay, Santa Rosa, let's look at the population. Let's look at the age distribution, race, and again, like, oh, maybe I'm interested in Hispanics. Then you can click on it, and then you can see an interactive map of where Hispanics are located. And you can do it by zip code, block group, or county. You want income distribution, same thing. You can look at the income distribution. You want to see where people making more than 100,000 are located, you can go and look at the map. And again, it's an interactive map, so you can do it by zip code, by county, or if you zoom in a lot, by block group. Housing, education. So you have that. So it's an interactive demographic report with charts and maps that you can place wherever you want it. And again, it's available for your county or for your region or for any of your cities. So if I want a different city, I can just click, okay, let's look for Milton. And now I get the same information, but used for this city. And I can see, okay, let's look at the education. And you can look at the data. You don't have to worry about updating the data because we update that for you. It's automatic. So you get the data twice a year, and it's from a company called Applied Geographic Solutions. It also includes consumer spending. So you want to see how much people spend in different things like entertainment or healthcare or food. Again, you can see it, and then you want to map it, you can map it as well. So very easy to use, point and click. Let's do one more. Labor force. You said that you are looking for engineers. Then you can come here, total occupations, and see, okay, let's see how many engineers we have. Okay, and then where are they located? If there's any concentrations. Oh yeah, there's concentrations in this area. So you can do the same thing for occupations, for type of industries, etc. And if somebody wants this report, they're like, oh, you know, I have a client that I have to show that report, you can export it. So you can click on export. This is for Milton, Milton, but it's actually called Milton, so I can just click on Milton. Click on it, and then you have a really nice report with your logo that you can send to a prospect or email to a client, etc. So that's the first of the intelligence components. So basically, it's a demographic report, interactive with maps and charts that you can, it's plug and play. You can place it anywhere in your website. Every community does it different. In the Idaho side, you can actually access it if you go to demographic analysis, and then you have demographics, and then again you can select any of the cities or counties or any of the regions, and then get this information that we have been talking about. So that's number one, and that's the most popular one. A lot of communities are using it because it's a way to keep the data up to date. You don't have to worry about the data, and you have rich reports available to your prospects when they visit your website. That's number one. Number two is what we call infographics. And you probably have seen those around in different type of websites, but usually you have to design it and put the data on it, you know, and it could be a lot of work just to set it up. So what we did is we created an infographic for each community or each city, each county, each region. So that's brand new, and again, you can place them right in your website. And to show you that, let me go to a different client. And I have here, this is in Louisiana, but they call it regional profiles. But then you can look at reports for the whole area. And then you can see, okay, you have population, you have education. So it's like a summary, but it's in a chart in an infographic format. So so it's easy to tell the story of your community. You have labor force, top talent, number of business, top industries, and it's interactive. You can say, okay, let's look at food services and public administration. You can see the change for the top industries, type of businesses, small, medium, large, income distribution, consumer spending, how do people spend the money, housing, etc. So you have that available for the region, but you can also do it for your community. So anyone can come here, and in this case, they put the name of the communities here, so you can just click on a new community and then get the information you want. Or you can just change it here and jump to, okay, now I'm in this community, La Salle, and I can see, okay, population. Let's look at education. Let's look at labor force, business, transportation, etc. So basically, you can get that information for any of your communities or any of your counties and your region for your region. And it can be placed anywhere in your website. Again, in the Idaho site, you have those available, and we call it community profiles. And again, what I'm trying to explain is you can also have this community profile in your own website because of the partnership that we have with Idaho Commerce. So, and they are very affordable. So we'll discuss that at the end. So anyway, and then the other cool thing about that is, let's say that you select a county. Let's select a county here. select Franklin County. All of these, you can share them in social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, or email to a client. So I just leave this county. I'm going to do it in LinkedIn. So now I'm going to go to my LinkedIn, and I'm going to share the report for Franklin County. And again, I can edit and change the title if I want, but I'm not going to do that right now. Just going to share the report. So let's go back to my LinkedIn now. I go to my updates. The spreadsheet. And it's here, community profile for Franklin County. Do you see it? So basically, they are all social media ready. So I can share them in social media, and if somebody clicks on it, it comes back to your website, to that report, to Franklin County, because I use this Franklin County. So basically, you can create any report or for any communities or for any city or any county, share it in social media, and then when they click on it, they will come back to your website. So the good thing about this is another way to drive traffic to your website. Sometimes people just share reports and data with different prospects all around, but what is important is that you share them and you bring them back to your website so that they can learn more about your communities, so that they can see what else you have to offer. So it's a good way to be interactive. So you want people to keep coming back to your website. So this is a tool, again, that you can embed anywhere in your website. So in this case, in the Idaho Commerce site, we have it here. But as the example I was showing before, you can just basically place it whether, anywhere you want it. So everybody has a different website. People call it regional profiles, community profiles, or demographic infographics, and whatever you want to call it, you can just, it's a click, it's like a click, again, like a line of code that you put in your website, and then suddenly you have this. So you don't have to worry about creating the infographic, updating the data. Is click and basically use it. So that's number 2. So I'm going to go to the third one. So the third one is about businesses. A lot of people have in the websites information about the industry that they promote or the target industries. And I have seen a lot of websites where they talk about, okay, we have these top industries, and then people can read about it, but sometimes they cannot look at the data, or they cannot actually get the data. So the third intelligence component allows you to basically visualize any of your industries. And let me show you that with a different example. Let me go to Augusta, Georgia, and I'm going to go to business and industries. And again, I'm just trying to show you different sites so that you can see how it looks in different websites. So it doesn't matter how your website looks like. It's basically a way to improve your website at an affordable cost. Instead of investing lots of like $10,000 or $20,000 in a new website, you can use these tools to improve it and provide site selectors and businesses the information that they might need. So the third one is the industry. So you can basically map different type of industries. So right now I'm in a county in Augusta, and I can just say, okay, I want to see all the banking businesses, and I can do all, or I can even narrow to a specific categories. Everything is by NICS code. So I'm mapping now all the banking and insurance businesses, and I see there's like 750, and the revenue is 747 millions and 2,600 employees. I can select a different industry. Let's look at construction. And I'm looking at constructions and banking. So you can basically create your own clusters on the fly. So I can look at education. I just did 3. And again, it's an interactive map. I mean, it looks kind of busy because I select a lot of them, but basically it's an interactive map that you can zoom in and click on the business and get the information for any of those business. And people can see, okay, let's see, this is a good place for my business based on the competition, based on the other industries that are in that area. You can create your own cluster map and then send that in social media to a client, or send it by email. And then if it gets too busy, you can just eliminate one of them and then just I just want construction. Let's just leave construction. So now I'm back to use construction now. Okay. And again, this is for the whole county, but I can do it for any of the cities inside that county too. In addition to that, you can do business search. So if you want to see, okay, give me the top employers. And again, depending on the size of your community, top employers for some people is 100 and more or 50 and more. Let's do 50 just to see what we get here. So I'm going to map all the businesses in this county with 50 businesses, with 50 employees or more, and then I have them. So I create like a top employer list. And again, maybe I should have done 100, but you can see there's 69 in education, 54 in food services, 52 in health, 38 on retail, etc. So you can do it by size, you can do it by street name, you can do it, let's do by street name, that would be kind of interesting. So let's do by street name. So now I want to see all the business in Green Street, so let's do that. And I mean, I don't know this city, so I don't know if there's, yeah, there are some, so I can see them. And then you can see the concentrations, and you can see the type of business that you have. So 50 professional services, 36 public administration, 29, and then again you can click it to get the information, and then you see like where are they located and the distribution by different type of categories. So again, it's a tool to show people your industries, what you have to offer, and they can do their own analysis, or you can do the analysis for them and then share it by email or social media or something like that. So that's number 3. That's what we call the industry one. So I showed the demographic, I showed the infographics, I showed the industry mapping. And now we're going to jump to the 4th one. The 4th one is the mapping tool. So now I'm going to go to Maricopa. I'm going to click on mapping. And you know how a lot of websites have like PDFs, and people put, you know, it's very common to see PDFs that, okay, this is a PDF for hospitals, PDF for incentives, you know, and people put, you know, sometimes like 20 different PDFs. So this is kind of replace those PDFs, because you can actually create like an interactive maps that showcase all your incentives, all the things you have to offer in your community. So this is a good example. So if I'm here in the city of Maricopa, I can come and then I can see, okay, let's see the different layers. Let's look at, I mean, there's a lot of data. Every community is different, but I can say, let's look at zoning. So you can actually look at the zoning and see color coded. You can even look at, in this case, you can even look at the parcel data. You can look, if you want schools, we can map the schools. And again, if it's too busy, let me clear this one. So now we're looking at schools. I can do flood zones. I can do redevelopment areas. So sometimes, you know, it's a way to showcase your incentives and see where they are. Let's take parcels out. So I can see what the redevelopment area is. I can look at education. I want to see all the colleges that offer like a bachelor degree. I want to look at the demographic data, and now I want to map, let's say that we want education and we want people with bachelor degree. So you can visualize all of them together, and this is important because sometimes people provide independent PDFs, but sometimes you need to go, you need all of them together because you want to see, I want to be in an incentive area, and I want to be close to an airport or to like a major university, and I want to be, you know, maybe depending on the type of business, you want to be close to a concentration of Hispanics or a concentration of families or families with babies, or, you know, depending on each business. Or maybe, you know, a specific type of workforce. Maybe you want to see, okay, I need a lot of, let's see, you know, food preparation service people, so you can see where there are concentrations, etc. So basically it allows you to have interactive maps right on your website, and then you can basically map, I mean, really hundreds of variables, including your own data. And again, this is available for the state, and if you come to the Hem State Prospector, then you can also go to Map in Idaho, and we have some custom maps there. And then you can see some of the local data. 5v6, zip codes, urban renewal areas, etc. So all of that information is available already on the Idaho side. The intelligence components allow you to have that information specifically for your community, for your region, or for your county right in your website. So the same way that Idaho can have this in the website, you can also have that in your own website. So that's the fourth one. So we have covered 4 by now. Now I'm going to show the 5th one. And the 5th one is actually quite interesting. Let's do it. I can just do it with the Idaho one so you can see. So we have, and the 5th one is called Compare Communities. And what this allows you is to compare your community with anyone in the US. So I can select any county, and I don't know the counties by memory, but let's select, I don't know, Canyon County. Let's see. And I can compare that to any county in the US. So let's say I'm trying to decide, I am trying to compare within Baldwin, Alabama. I can do more than one. Center County. We're going to compare the 3 of them. So then I can see the compare like age distribution, for example, for the 3 counties. Again, you can do it with counties in Idaho only, or you can compare it with counties outside. So in this case, you can see side by side age distribution by total or by percentage. And then you can look this to the same thing with all the other demographics, like household income distribution. You can see, okay, let's see how we compare with Baldwin County. And you say, you know, you see Baldwin County seems that have a lot more population in the 100K. But then I can do it by percentage, and then you can see differences, and then you can see the different counties. So again, this allows you to compare any city or any community in your territory with any community in the US. And again, you can do it by total, or you can do it by percentage, and you can do it side by side. You can also do it for the labor force. So you are trying to compare, you know, employees by occupation, then you can see them side by side for Canyon County, Baldwin County, and Central County. Or you can do it by size, establishment by size, etc. Again, this is available in the Idaho site, in the commerce site, but also you can have that in your website if you want to. Again, this is not free. There's a fee for that, but through the partnership with Idaho Commerce, we are making this very affordable for all the communities in Idaho to have this technology because of the relationship that we have with Idaho Commerce. So that's the 5th one. So those are 5 intelligence components, point and click. As you can see, they're very easy to use. Target to like site selectors and business who are trying to expand, and give them, and with the intention of giving them the information that they need, the data that they need with use point and click. Because what happens is a lot of those people will do the research online first. They will not call you. They will go to your website. They will explore what you have to offer. They will get information, and then if they like it, then they might call you after that. But you know, the first impression is whatever they see on your website, and that's probably the first thing they're going to do. So basically, that's a good summary of the 5 intelligence components. I can take some questions.
Hey, Pablo, this is Jenny. Do you mind if I say something?
Sure, of course. No, go ahead.
So Pablo did a great job explaining each of the individual intelligence components, and as he mentioned, they're all available on the Commerce website and through gemstateprospector.com. However, if you want to select any one of those individual intelligence components, more than one, you can have those on your own community website. And so instead of having, say, a site selector or business go to the state website and then kind of have to filter down and find out which community they want to look at. If they happen to land on your website first, say for Mountain Home or Bannock County, then you can have these right on your own website. So it just helps enhance your website with more details about your own specific community. And again, like Pablo said, you know, Commerce pays for the GIS planning services for Gem State Prospector, but any of these enhancements or additional tools that communities want to use, there will be a small fee, but as he said, we've got a good partnership, so we're coming up with reasonable costs and an annual cost for any of these components. And so if it's something you might be interested in for your own website, just let me know, and then we can kind of work out like what you could afford and what GIS planning would need to charge, things like that. Any questions?
I don't see any questions. It doesn't seem anyone's typed anything in. There's no hands raised.
You know, a couple of the communities, what they've done so far, we've got BVEP in Boise and CEDO for Southern Idaho. They've each got upgraded their website with what we call a local edition. So instead of the intelligence components, they have their property search so that when a site selector company goes directly to their site and looks up and is looking for available sites or buildings or any of the additional demographic information, it only pulls up information for their region. So a company doesn't have to like filter through all and try to select the right region for where they want to look in Idaho. It's specifically for CEDO and the area that they cover. So that's been a good enhancement for those two agencies that they've done for their websites.
Yeah, I have it here open so that if anyone was looking at my screen, this is just one example. So that's the other tool that we have available to your communities. If you also want to showcase the sites and buildings in your own website, like in this case, Southern Idaho does it. So then what Jenny was saying, when you do a search, then basically you will be searching only your region, and it's the same data that is in the state side, but it will only display the data for your communities, basically.
One of the questions, can you make it bigger? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Okay. One of the questions that came up is, will this be available to the economic development districts of Idaho, for example, CEDA, PAC, etc.? It would be great to show regional profiles. Yes, and this was from Michelle. And this would be available to any EDO, any district that they want to highlight their own region that they cover. And so the local edition that we just talked about and that Pablo just showed for CEDO, that's been available for a while. Like I said, we've got 2 communities that have it now, and then we've got a couple others that are in the research process. And the intelligence components, those are fairly new. Pablo, have they been around a year yet?
No, less than, no, this year. We started them this year, so it has been like 8 months, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so those are fairly new. So now those are just additional new options that you have to, like I said, enhance your current website for prospective business clients looking at your area.
We have another question. How do you track the metrics, website hits, number of downloads, etc., to see if it's being used and valuable to site selectors?
Pablo, can you answer that?
Yes, and it a little bit depends on which tool we are talking about. But the property search tool, that comes with a bunch of analytics, so you can see, you know, how many properties have been click and where people are coming from and all of that. So the property search it comes with an analytic system that you can log in and do and see, you know, how many hits you have had, what type of search people have done, what type of communities people have searched for, and all of that. So that's like their own internal admin system. That's part of the property search. For the intelligence components, because they can be embedded in your website, then they will go basically in your own analytics. So like, for example, in Maricopa, they have this page, so you can track how many, you know, when you put it in this website, you can track using your own Google Analytics or whatever you are using to see the traffic, because it's kind of embedded in your website. So whatever traffic that page gets, that's the traffic you are getting. We probably will include some internal analytics too later on, but right now it's basically related to whatever tool you use in your own website.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
I was going to say something, sorry, the other good thing about, and it's kind of related to the analytics, and that made me think about it, is, you know, one thing that is important in any community website is you want your website to be sticky, meaning you don't want people to leave your website. You want them to stay and get as much information as they want. You don't want them to click and go. So that's kind of part of the idea of the intelligence components, is they come here, they do the analysis, they kind of, you know, here they stay and they do mapping, and then you can put anything you want around it. You can even put your own advertising or whatever you want, but the whole idea is to make them sticky so that people spend more time in your website. So a good measurement will be, you know, it's not only tracking the number of hits, but it's tracking on how much people, you know, I mean, before maybe they stay 1 minute in this page, now maybe they stay 10 minutes, you know? So it's a good, I always tell people, you need to track usage in terms of hits, but you also need to track how much time they spend on that specific page. And you will see that the time spent in each page will go up, because now they are like doing analysis, they're doing reports, and they do it without leaving your website, basically.
Right. It's a great way for your community to, all the things that you have to offer, it's a great way to make it tangible. So to see that information about, you know, the population, and what's the average age of the population in your community, and how many businesses are there, it just makes it more tangible.
Okay, do you have anything else for us, Pablo?
No, that's pretty much it. If there's no more questions, then, I mean, the only other thing is if somebody wants links, we do, Jenny, I believe you have the links to all of these pages that I'm showing, but I'm happy to send them to anyone who is interested, and I can send an email with, you know, all the examples that I showed today, so that you can, you know, play with them on your own.
Fantastic. Thank you. So if anybody needs any more information, you can contact pretty much anyone here at Commerce, but I'm happy to direct you to the right person. If you email me at amanda.ames@commerce.idaho.gov. Looks like we do have one more question. Who do we contact to insert data on our website?
You know, when we worked with CEDU, GIS Plan, Pablo, correct me if I'm wrong, GIS Planning will provide us a link that you can embed in your website, and so it's your web developer, whoever manages your website, is who's going to kind of embed that and make it work on your website. Is that correct, Pablo?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's basically, it's just a little piece of, like a line, it's a script that they have to put in their website. It really takes 5 minutes. Again, everybody has a different webmaster, and some of them are more technical too, other ones. So we're happy to help anyone doing it. It's really easy, but again, that's part of what we do. So yeah, if you have any system that is a little bit more complicated and you need to get in, we'll tell you how to do it. But in general, most web designers or webmasters they don't have to do anything other than put that line of code in the page that they want it, and then that will show up. Very easy.
I think when we were working with CEDU, they had their web developer just contact GIS Planning directly, and they kind of worked it out.
Yeah.
We have one more question. Who do we have the pricing conversation with again?
You can go through me.
Jenny Hemley.
Jenny, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Pablo, very much for making yourself available to us today. And
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
oh, we have a comment. Very cool tool. It is. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
yeah, no, that's good that you like it.
Again, we record all of these virtual roundtables, so if you'd like to view this again or know somebody that would like to view it, just get in touch with us and we can give you that information on how to access. So thank you everyone for attending, and thank you again, Pablo.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.